set up my new Bible. Ever since this came in the mail, I've only used this. I'm obsessed with it. It is perfection. To make it easy, I already did some printables today while listening to Keith Urban. First thing I'm going to do is put my name in my Bible. Since this text is really bold, I just thought my name right next to it would be nice. You don't have to print this, obviously. Okay, have my name. The next thing I want to add is a reading plan. As usual, I have Blue Letter Bible's chronological reading plan. I've already been using this one, so this is what I'm going to put in my Bible. I love to have a reading plan. Where's the glue? Now I have my reading plan that I can come to. Then I have, this is the books of the Bible, just listed out. And I like to make a little tick mark under each book of the Bible once I'm through with it. So I'm going to put this in here as well, right before the table of contents. But before I do that, I'm going to highlight the books of the Bible by genre. So the first 5 are the Pentateuch. Then this is going to be my all pink Bible. This is history. And then we have poetry. So I'm using only pink highlighters. I probably won't do that forever, but I want to. Then we have prophets, which is pretty much the rest of the Old Testament is prophets. Some people separate it by major and minor prophets, which just means the length of the books, but I just lump them all together. And then we have the Gospels. Acts is its own thing. It is early church history. Then we have Paul's letters. Then letters written by other people. Then Revelation is also its own thing. It's prophecy. So we want to glue this in. This reading plan is what I'm going to read, and this is checking off what I have read. So that's why I want both of them in here. I used to just have one, but I read the Bible straight through very often. I read the Bible completely through once every 2 months or so. So I like this because it keeps track of how many times I've read the Bible. That's just for fun. Oh, I need to date this. Forgot I wanted to add a date right here. We'll get to that later. Then I've been working on marking some verses. I've been doing this new thing to mark my Bible. I used to do a lot of tabs at the top of my Bible, but I've been using this method I just came up with recently. I used to use a sticky note. Now I am going to use, this is a piece of cardstock. I printed lines on it. If you go onto Google, you can search for lined paper printable, and it just prints lines on the paper. And now I'm going to make bookmarks out of this cardstock so that I can write verses that I'm tracking based on theme. So I'm doing one on loneliness right now. I'll show you what that looks like. I want there to be space for the bookmark to come up. So I'm just eyeballing where I want to cut these bookmarks lengthwise. So, for instance, I have a little paper. You could see what I was starting to do. This is about forgiveness, and I was taking little pieces of scrap paper and writing verses that pertained to a theme, and then I write the topic at the top. See, the front one is about forgiveness, and that back paper is about the Good Samaritan. Little studies that I'm doing, and I decided it would be easier if I just made a full-on cardstock bookmark, and now I can have tons of verses, which we're going to fill in verses about loneliness. But since that'll take a while, we'll do that at the very end. Since that's not really Bible setup, I'll do that at the end. Let's go to the back of my Bible and glue in this. This is something new I'm doing. This is my goals. This is my Bible reading goals. Since I read the Bible so often, so many times through, I like to have goals with each read through. One of the ones I want to work on right now is my relationship with God. So right here, I'm just going to write relationship with God. Over here will be what I mean by that, what I'm looking for. So the number one thing to have a relationship with somebody is to understand who they are. So who is God? What are his attributes? And I always wonder, does he love us? So if I'm asking this, I'll be looking for evidence of his love as I read. So I'll come in and fill the rest out off camera. So there are my goals, and this was actually, so I have this faith framework that I took and reformatted to be goals. This is my goals, and then spaces for goals. This is my faith framework. These are my beliefs and my principles. So I have them described on this side and then short little snippets on the right side. So I'm going to stick this in here, but on the back, because I had this blank space and it's right in front of this note paper that comes in the back of this Bible, which is one of the features I really love is note paper. I put my Bible journaling prompts. So these I put in most of my Bibles. These are reflection questions to read after I've read the Bible for that day. So I'm going to glue this in. I want to add my favorite verse every time I start the Bible. I left this all blank. I'm not gluing anything down. I'm going to use sticky notes. I have been obsessed with keeping the inside covers of my notebooks and my Bibles and my journals and my planner clear so I can add a ton of sticky notes. And that's my plan here. I'm going to write my favorite verse right now, which is John 15, verse 4. Changes up all the time, so that's why I'm going to use a sticky note. Okay. I'm just going to make sure to copy it down exactly. It says, "Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me." Also brought these over. I really like this pink. I feel like they match, so I'm actually going to pull them all out. Place these in the front along with these sticky notes. I know I'm going to use these a lot, so they're in there. Let's work on that bookmark. I'm going to do loneliness. Actually, let's do highlight first so it's prettier. The first verse is Isaiah 41:10. I'm not going to write out the whole verse because I'm going to take notes as I do these studies in the margins in this space. And this will be kind of my map to go searching for loneliness. The next one's Deuteronomy 31:8. And then Psalm 27, verse 10. And then Matthew 28, verse 20. I have to read it because it's just so sweet. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Okay, and then we're just going to write the rest really fast. Joshua 1, verse 9. Psalm 23, verse 4. John 14:18. I'm going to actually add verse 13 to Isaiah 41. Psalm 68, verse 6. And a couple more Psalms. 25:16 and 18, verse 6. It's good enough for now. So I'll just put this at one of the places where I want to start in Isaiah 41. Then I'll come back through, do my little studies in the margins. So I could see loneliness just at a glance, and I will put topics on these as well. And then when they're in there, I'll be able to see those titles as well. Then the last thing I'm gonna do for now, glue this collage of Molly from Look Who's Talking into Psalms, because this is my mood a lot of the time, and it makes me laugh and feel better when I'm feeling sad. David always feels sad. I really like Psalm 6 and Psalm 31. I'm leaning towards Psalm 31, but I read it so many times, I was thinking maybe I should work on Psalm 6. I think I'm going to do it in Psalm 6. So funny. This is my desktop background as well. It makes me laugh. When I was a little girl, I wanted to be Molly. I thought she was so cool and so beautiful. I thought my mom looked like her. This was my favorite movie when I was a kid. I'm done. Really happy with what I have so far. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit today. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.